The Montreal Canadiens may have actually lost in this game to the Vancouver Canucks 5-2, but may I tell you what I think actually happened? Alrighty then. I told you I'd bring a couple more impressions, and I'm going to work very hard to do that to make this more entertaining, especially after losses. However, the Montreal Canadiens still play a really strong game against the Vancouver Canucks, especially the first period where the results just they couldn't execute, right? The results weren't there. The effort and the shots on net certainly were. And that's why I'm going to start with your boy, everyone's favorite. No, Yuri Slafkovsky. I'm going to start with Slav. And, you know, you saw his name in the title as he appears in it. Everybody wants to talk about him. He's always a hot button issue. I shouldn't say issue. He's always a hot button topic. I'm going to say topic, okay? Because I love him and I support him, okay? Anyway, I'm just going to say one of his best performances. And actually, I was surprised to find out when I got on sportsnet.ca to see that Slafkovsky was actually listed as the third star of this game for the Montreal Canadiens. 7 shots on net, 11 shot attempts. And my gosh, he needs to shoot more because as we saw very early in this game, a 2-on-1 where clearly Slav was indecisive on what to do with that puck. He was thinking pass to a very good shooter in his buddy Cole Caulfield, and he whiffed on a pass or a shot. Nothing came of it. Actually, it was basically a puck that was pushed onto Casey DeSmith, former Montreal Canadian Casey DeSmith. But you guys saw it was so frustrating because Slav was getting his chances in this game. His attitude afterwards, however, was very good. He did know that he played a very good game, but he also knew the results weren't there, and that's what he's striving for. That's what the Canadiens are striving for. But he had a pretty good attitude about it, and he knows that eventually those pucks are going to start to go in, and they're going to go in especially when he shoots. So that's why I'm glad that he recognized, hopefully, that sometimes, man, you got to shoot. Slav has a good shot. We've seen him use it before. His first NHL goal last year, even, it was a beautiful shot. Anyway, we know where they're trying to take him. So the fact that he had a performance like this after a back-to-back against the Boston Bruins, it was just good to see from him specifically. And Caulfield's struggling a bit right now, 5-on-5. As we know, it's a hot button topic as well. And I think that Slav's been playing pretty good with Dvorak and Caulfield. So the fact that Kirby Doc isn't able to be here, and I think they both would have had more production probably at this point, Slav and Doc, if they were both playing together this season, but they're not. So Slav is adjusting. And I think that he's doing a pretty darn good job overall. There's still going to be mistakes, but his overall game yesterday, despite getting no results and a -2, still has to be encouraging if you're watching his entire game. Anyway, I don't need to harp on it much. I know you guys are going to, disagree with me because the results are what the game is about. I know that. However, I wanted to mention that. Now, what I also want to mention in this game is the first period specifically because Slav missed a chance. Jake Evans missed a chance. Pearson hit the post, even though the goal horn went off in the Bell Center. The first period was a really encouraging first period. The Habs had a much better start than they've been having in games lately. And I think that, the fact that they were so close and just didn't get the results, that's the most frustrating part of this loss against the Vancouver Canucks to me, is that they couldn't execute early enough in order to stay in the game. It got out of hand in the second period. The Canucks went up 3-0, right? Jake Allen stood on his head near the end of this game. But jumping back to the opportunities missed in the first period, Slav had another chance that he couldn't get the puck off. He couldn't get a shot off. He's got to work on it, on his timing. But what Martin St. Louis did say, I'll go back to Slav for a second. Here's the quote from St. Louis on Slafkovsky's play in this game against the Canucks. It's a game that shows he looks more comfortable on the ice with his reading of the play. And when you play like that, usually the puck goes in for you. This could absolutely also be said about Josh Anderson, who still hasn't been able to hit the net at all this season, but did have an assist on the power play. And that's where I want to talk to you guys about is the Montreal Canadiens power play currently is sitting at 12th in the NHL right now, clicking at 22%. So the conversation has really dipped on the criticism of the power play because it's been producing more results. So credit to Burrows and Marty St. Louis for helping to get better results on the power play. That's what's been happening, right? 22%, 12th in the NHL at this stage of the game in mid-November. Not so bad. And frankly, it's refreshing. Sometimes it's still hard to watch. Sometimes the power play is still hard to watch, but I do believe they're adjusting, and you can clearly see that because the results are proving that. Want to talk about the old man line of Brendan Gallagher, Sean Monahan, and Tanner Pearson, who clearly are setting the tone, as I heard Eric Engel say against the Bruins the other night, or after the Bruins game, that these guys are really setting the tone for the work ethic that the Montreal Canadiens are able to implement. And the results are coming for them too, for Sean Monahan, Pearson, and Gallagher. And Gallagher had a great little backhand, a couple plays that I think are going to go untalked about or unnoticed. But if you notice them, like me, Brendan Gallagher, a little backhand play in the slot to Sean Monahan for an opportunity in the second period, I believe it was. And also, I think it was the second or third period, a similar opportunity that Brendan Gallagher wasn't able to cash in on, but he's getting better chances for himself and for his line mates in Pearson and Monahan. So I'm so encouraged by Gally's play, as I know a lot of you have been. He's really been quieting a lot of us down, right? So the fourth line of Jake Evans, Michael Pezzetta, and Raphael Harvey-Pinard has been consistent as well in terms of effort and just the style of play, the forechecking abilities that they have, and they're creating chances too. They're getting opportunities. Jake Evans whiffed on a huge opportunity in the first period. I don't know if he whiffed. He actually got a shot on that, I believe. And Caden Gooley, I'm going to go back to him for a second, actually had a really good opportunity after taking a puck to the face in the first period. Caden Gooley came down and almost scored. He put a really good quality shot on net that Casey DeSmith had to get a full arm to take care of that shot and block it. But again, just a game where the results weren't there, but the team effort certainly was, especially on a back-to-back against two of the NHL's hottest teams in the Boston Bruins and the Vancouver Canucks. You have to be encouraged, if you're focused on the process, that these are encouraging performances for the Canadiens over this weekend. And now you go in to play the Calgary Flames, who have been struggling this season. And now's your opportunity for Josh Anderson to get his first goal, maybe, or just in general to get a better result in the Flames game. So that's what I'm expecting, hopefully, from them. But I do expect at least a point out of the Canadiens against the Flames this week. It should be highlighted too, the Canadiens are still the third youngest team in the NHL right now. So that's why I think I'm just staying focused on the progress that they are making from the players on the ice. I didn't even mention it yet, the disallowed goal for Christian Dvorak on the offside review. Oh man, I just don't know how to feel about it. It was clearly offside from Cole Caulfield. This is the third disallowed goal from Cole Caulfield being offside this season already. And I think Cole's going to have to watch his blue line. He's going to have to try to keep that skate back an inch or two more. But my gosh, do those plays become killers, because it just sucks. It sucks. Let's just admit it. I know that I'm going to harp on it again and again. I know I will, because it just kills the momentum. It takes away from the moment when you have to get these offside reviews. You got to think how many more offsides are missed or were missed over the years that were good goals. What are we going to do? Are we going to go back and review every single goal in terms of how close it was to offside and take away those stats from players years ago? Like, I know that sounds stupid, but when it comes to this rule and how it's going to affect the game, especially in playoff games, I don't want to see another goal like that ruin a moment for these guys, for the fans. I just think it ruins it. I don't know. Human error should be still allowed to an extent in sports. And I think that offside is a big one for me. I'm going to stop right there, because if I keep going, it's not going to help anything. But it's just frustrating. No matter which team you cheer for, it's frustrating. It's annoying. It takes away from the game for me. Mike Matheson was a -3 in this game, but he got the power play marker for the Canadiens. I just added him to my fantasy team off waivers. Thank you very much, Mike Matheson, aka my twin brother from Pointe Claire, Quebec. But it was nice to see him. He had a huge bounce back the other night against the Boston Bruins, let me tell you, with factoring in all 3 goals. But Mike Matheson's a leader. He's a proven point producer. He corrected himself and was very hard on himself. I wouldn't say very hard, but he was the first one to look inward, he said, after the game against the Canucks last night, on the mistakes that he made in terms of defending and not being able to keep the puck out of the net for the Canadiens. So good for him for owning that. And I hope that translates to the other players too, in terms of learning from their mistakes. And Arber Xhekaj, just like Christian Dvorak last week, a very similar goal, very similar play, only Dvorak tickled the twine on his first goal when the game was lost last week against, was it Tampa, where they lost, and Dvorak scored right at the end of the game, one of the nicest goals he's ever scored in the NHL, probably. But Arber Xhekaj does a very similar thing. Jake Allen gets an assist on this goal. Good for Jake. And you know what? Jake Allen made, like I mentioned, some huge saves in the third period to keep the Canadiens in it. But Arber Xhekaj, with an assist from Jake Allen and from Jordan Harris, comes in with 3 or 4 defenders on him and is able to get a quick wrister past Casey DeSmith for Arber Xhekaj's first goal of the season. And he's been getting better in his overall play. So shout out to Arber as well. Staying out of the box. We need that from him. He's got offensive untapped potential, and not just because he's scored, but he's got that wrister that is deceptive, that needs to, he can get that puck through. He's good at it. So I want to see more from that from Arber. I want to see more of that from Arber. I want to give a shout out to the Canadiens for doing a beautiful job in the pregame ceremony with Hockey Fights Cancer Night going on. You saw Jake Evans, Caden Gooley, Kovacevic, and others, Jake Allen, with the Canadiens coming out with the young kids and folks that are battling cancer right now. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. We saw this young gentleman named Emile announcing the lineup for the Canadiens with Marty St. Louis by his side. I absolutely loved it. It was touching. It was beautiful. And I just want to give the Canadiens a shout out for just doing an amazing job, as always, at the Bell Center on nights like these, and other NHL clubs, frankly, who do the same, other sports leagues who do the same. It's amazing seeing the positive energy they try to create in what can be a very negative situation for families. We've all been touched by cancer in some way, some form. So I just want to say kudos to the Canadiens for doing a wonderful job. We love to see it. Very well done. That's all I got, you guys. I'll see you after the Flames Habs game on Tuesday night, where my friend Billy will be in the building in the same seats I had for the Winnipeg game. And as I let you guys know, next season, believe it or not, we're going to have season tickets, potentially our first offer for season tickets for the Canadiens for half season tickets. So I'm really looking forward to the on-ice product improving. So the timing is right for it. But all in all, just exciting to be in the building more going forward and eventually the playoffs. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the support. I love you. Appreciate you. And we'll see you soon. Go Habs, go.